It's been a turbulent few years for the McLaren Formula One team, going from the success of Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton in the good old Vodafone days of 2010 to 2012. Then the demise of the V6 hybrid era. They got Kevin Magnussen in and Jenson Button. And then, of course, the big dreaded Honda engine came back. It was supposed to be a success, and it proved to be a massive, massive failure. Recently, McLaren have been on a recovery stage, you know what I mean? Like, they're almost dubbed as a midfield team. Well, actually, they are a midfield team at present, but they shouldn't be a midfield team. They should be a championship winning team on a consistent basis. They should be challenging for that title every single year. However, in recent years, they have made some correct decisions. They've got some new personnel in, got some new drivers in, new sponsors, and it all seems to be working so far. But they also have a brand new driver in Daniel Ricciardo, a very, very popular guy, very, very funny, very, very quick as well. Had 2 years at Renault, didn't quite work out the way he wanted to. It's coming to McLaren alongside Lando Norris. Now, we all know how big Lando Norris is on social media and how popular he is with the fans. We know it from first-hand experience how popular he actually is. And we know how popular Ricciardo is in the sense that he's been around for some time and he makes everybody laugh. And these two, as teammates, it's going to be good. We're going to get some amazing content. We're going to get some amazing videos of when they're doing sponsor shoots or in the media pen. It's going to be good. But how long is it going to last? And is it going to last? Are we going to see tensions build very soon? We know Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris got on very, very well, and it was sad to see that partnership split up, but when we heard Ricciardo was coming into the fold, we were very excited. But is it going to last? And is it going to work? First and foremost, is it going to work and is it going to last? And that's what we're going to be discussing today. So Lyle, Lando Norris, we know how popular he is, don't we? From when he reacted to our video, which was pretty good, by the way. I know you're not like a McLaren fan as such, but Ricciardo did race for your team, Red Bull, back in the day. Probably, some very good years battling alongside Max Verstappen. That was pretty juicy as well. And as we know, he beat Sebastian Vettel. How excited are you for that partnership just off your first initiative? When you first heard Ricciardo was coming into McLaren alongside Lando Norris, what was your reaction to that? Do you think it was a good move by McLaren? Or maybe do you think they could have went with somebody else other than Daniel Ricciardo?
I think it's a great move. I was really happy when I heard about it. Daniel Ricciardo is a great guy. Now, firstly, you were saying there about, he's a great guy. Or I just said as well. He's a great guy. He's got a great smile. He makes everyone laugh. He does. It's very true. But that's just what he does off the track, which is good. He's got a good personality in that way. But we can't forget, and I think going forward, we can't forget, because now, everyone's saying, it's going to be as you said there, happy-go-Larry team. It's going to be like so happy, it's going to be smiley, it's going to be a little immature. It's going to be like having two little kids in the house. And firstly, before we get on to that, we just have to remember that Daniel Ricciardo is a fierce driver. Now, you've got to remember 2014. He whitewashed Sebastian Vettel. It was just amazing season by Daniel Ricciardo, and one of the best seasons, if not the best season Daniel Ricciardo's had in Formula 1, and probably my favourite season of the Honey Badger. It was incredible. He beat Sebastian Vettel on three race wins and many other times in the championship. Obviously, Sebastian Vettel got, I think it was only 1 or 2 podiums in that year. Not good from him, but the Australian did so well. He has had an incredible run at Red Bull Racing. Yes, of course, he had Daniel Kvyat for 2 years, which might have been an easier teammate, but then he had Max Verstappen, who definitely was not an easy teammate. Yes, maybe 2016, 2017, he had the edge on him, and he thought, I'm better than you, and obviously you had better results. But then he had 2018, and it was just like, that was his year to succeed, and it was such a strong year, and that was when he had his work cut out, when he battled against Max Verstappen, but he made it work, and he was very strong. In last year with Renault, 2 podiums. Is this an effing podium? It effing is. And it was absolutely so well deserved. The Ival Grand Prix was his first podium. It was so well deserved. I definitely think that he has got visions of being the number 1 driver. He's got visions of winning and getting on the podium and really delivering and steering McLaren in the right direction. I think for his sake, he could do really well at the team, but I think for your sake and the team's sake, when I say yours, I mean the team, for the team's sake, for your sake, I think he's going to do very good things with your team. I think he has got a plan to really drive you in the right direction. And I'm not saying that you have needed that for a very long time with Carlos Sainz. Yes, it did go well, but they never seem like drivers to lead the team in the right direction. I feel like Daniel Ricciardo has definitely got that vision in the bag at McLaren. So if Daniel isn't going there to be happy-go-lucky, do you think Lando Norris can put up with that? Not the friendship side, but the the fierceness of Daniel Ricciardo. How do you see Lando facing up to the battling of Daniel Ricciardo? And as just I said there about Daniel Ricciardo's intentions this year, what are Lando Norris's intentions with obviously his new Australian teammate?
I mean, what you said there before about me being so excited about getting Ricciardo into the team, I was 100% so happy. I'm a big fan of Daniel Ricciardo. I have been for quite some time. I do like his bubbly personality, off the track, but I also like his fierce driving on the track as well. He's a very quick driver, and quite frankly, he should be world champion. It should be world champion in my opinion. But then again, he has never been at the right team to do so, or at the right situation. I think he got fed up of Red Bull just battling for third or being third, and then he went to Renault to kind of stand up. It's almost like moving home, wasn't it? To stand up on your own 2 feet. He'd been at home for quite some time with the Red Bull program, then went to Toro Rosso, then went to Red Bull. But then he went, no, it's time for me to do my thing now, not what you dictate, my thing, because he knew he seen the rise of Verstappen. He knew what was coming, so he went, I'll go to Renault, and we know it hasn't worked, unfortunately. So him cutting McLaren is a big boost for the team, 100%. But on the other side of the grid, Lando Norris. Now, Norris has been in the sport for 2 years now. He's done very, very well in the 2 years that he has been in the sport. I think he's going to bring, hopefully, something a lot better to the table than what he has. I think his performances have been really, really good. He got that podium in Austria, which was fantastic. But he's still got a lot to learn, hasn't he? Lando Norris. He's still finding his feet, but at the same time as well, we know what he's capable of. We know his ability, and having a driver like Daniel Ricciardo alongside him is going to benefit him massively, because he worked alongside Carlos Sainz, who was no slouch, and Carlos Sainz was very quick, but Carlos Sainz has never won a Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz has never been with a World Championship winning team prior to McLaren. You know what I mean? And he never had that. Daniel Ricciardo, despite him never winning a championship at all, he has won races. He's been part of Red Bull for some time. They know how to win. They know what it takes to win. Even like I said, he wasn't there during that stint, but he was part of the family anyways. The qualifying battle between Norris and Sainz was very, very close, and Norris had edged it twice, both years by a single race. I think it might have been. So it's been very close in that sense. But then when it comes to the race and the overall standings, Carlos Sainz has finished ahead of Lando Norris. So I think Norris knows he needs to improve his racecraft. Yes, maybe the car wasn't at some point not reliable enough, which is understandable. Like Sainz had problems and Norris at some stages throughout the course of the season. So McLaren need to improve in that sense, but it also needs to be that is the chassis and the power unit going to intertwine with one another, because McLaren do have to make some alterations to the chassis, so it's either going to work or it's not. So we might have to wait till 2022 to see it unfold. No, I think it's going to be interesting for these two. I think it's going to be a more fierce battle on track. I do think that. And when Sainz and Norris was battling on track, it didn't happen as often as what I thought it was gonna do. So maybe we could get that with Ricciardo and Norris, because like I said, Norris has got 2 years of experience behind him now. He knows what he needs to improve on. Ricciardo has got he's got a point to prove, to say, right, okay, the Renault move didn't quite work for me. I've got a new team in McLaren. I've got Mercedes power. This has to work. So they kind of both got points to prove, which could kind of cross over and maybe like, I want to get one over on you. No, I want to get one over on you. And this is where things might start to deteriorate in the relationships. And we've seen, teammates become the best of friends at one stage, but then when it gets to the nitty gritty of stuff, it all boils over, doesn't it? Yeah, as well, Lyle. What's your expectations then for these two for 2021? Because like I said, there will be alterations to the chassis to be able to fit in the Mercedes power unit. Is that going to be a massive help for these two? And do you think maybe Ricciardo can achieve more this season than he has done in the past 2 seasons at Renault? Achieve more at McLaren in 2021 with more podiums and potentially a race win. Do you think he could do that? Or maybe, and same goes for Lando Norris. I think Norris can achieve more with McLaren this season than he has done in the past 2 seasons, get more podiums, and even possibly get a race win. Or maybe you think it's not quite, they're not quite there yet as a team, and maybe as drivers as such.
I definitely think that they've got podiums in them both. Obviously, they've had podiums before. Lando Norris had a podium last year. Obviously, Austria, we all remember how incredible that podium was there. I think he was the second youngest British pole sitter at that. Podium sitter at that time. Obviously, Daniel Ricciardo getting 2 podiums at Renault was absolutely incredible. I think they're definitely going to have better seasons, both of them, this year. The Mercedes power unit is going to be great. I think really that could be the only thing to really push them over the edge. They're both incredible. They're both really good drivers. Obviously, yes, Ricciardo is better than Norris for sure. He's had more experience on him. He's been a better team. He's raced winner. But Norris still has that talent that obviously we have seen glimpses of. But like I just said there at the start about Daniel Ricciardo wanting to be number one driver, my view is that yes, he wants to do that and he wants to be, kind of that fierce. He knows that he needs to go into a team very much like he did with Red Bull in 2014. He needs to go in with that red right hand and he needs to go, right, this is my team. I mean, actually, you remember in 2014 he did that. He slammed he didn't smile. He slammed down his hand. He didn't smile, Sebastian Vettel. He looked him right in the eye and he went, "You're the 4-time world champion. I do not care. I don't give a monkeys. This is my team." And I mean, look at what he did. 4 wins. His first win in Canada, 7 races in. Absolutely incredible. I mean, honestly, 2014 was an incredible year for Daniel Ricciardo. Probably, in my mind, his best. I know I've said that before. I've changed mine now. It is definitely the best year. He was incredible in that year. He was definitely ruthless. And it's just how much he controlled his 4-time world champion teammate. I do think Ricciardo wants to do that, but nevertheless, Norris, he has the potential also, on the other side of the garage, to be number one driver, to be the guy who said, 2 years at McLaren, this is my team. I'm British. I'm the one who's steering the ship, and this is mine to go on. With all that competition, it's going to be tight for McLaren, so I'm not going to say that they're going to win a race. That being said, we could evaluate this in a few months down the line and say we're completely wrong. We haven't even seen the cars in winter testing yet. We haven't even seen the liveries yet. But podium, they're definitely going to be there. They're going to have good finish in the standings, and overall, I'm very excited to see what could happen again. And on Daniel Ricciardo's side, if they can beat Renault or Alpine, and if they can, they're not going to beat Red Bull, but if they can take the fight close to Red Bull. Obviously, last year they got 3rd place. Red Bull was 2nd, but the gap was massive. It was about 200 odd points, I think it was. So they weren't battling Red Bull. But if they can get to a point where they are close to Red Bull, they're taking the fight to them, and they're battling 4 podiums against the likes of Verstappen and Checo, possibly more Checo this time. Obviously, Verstappen might be, the one fighting for wins. But if they can fight and beat Renault, or Alpine, sorry, and if they can fight and try and beat Red Bull, you never know, they could beat Red Bull this year. I think that will be a massive boost for Daniel Ricciardo. Jordan, obviously, your expectations on them. You've just said they're world champion, Daniel Ricciardo. He wants to win the world championship. But so does Lando Norris. And
he does.
Without saying that he's a meme, because obviously that's what got us in trouble last time.
Be careful.
Okay, let's jump forward a few years. Okay, they're teammates, it still worked.
All right,
Who's going to win that world championship first? And who's going to have better kind of overall success at McLaren for however long that will go on for?
My money would be on Ricciardo because of the experience. I think he is the quicker driver. And yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I think, but then again, I'm not writing off Lando Norris in that aspect because at the same time though, it is a challenge for Norris because he's got a point to prove as well. He's been quite critical of himself for the past 2 seasons by saying that he hasn't done enough in race wise in his performances. So he wants to improve and work hard to ensure that he improves and gets better and that he starts beating his teammate because I think he's got a harder challenge now alongside Ricciardo than he did with Carlos Sainz. I think Carlos Sainz was a very good driver and quite frankly he did very, very well at McLaren, but I think Ricciardo is a quicker driver, not by much, but I just think he's quicker. So Norris has got to be even quicker than he has been, and he's got to work on himself. He's got to work on his driving ability. He's got to be fully concentrated like he has been, and just get the job done. But also at the same time, working well with Ricciardo to ensure that McLaren get to where they are. Because working well as a team is what has gotten to where McLaren where they are now. But they're not quite there yet. So they've got to keep working together to ensure that they get all the way there. But upon thinking about it, though, is Ricciardo is walking into a similar situation that he has been previously. Maybe not as severely, but it is similar. He's at a team like McLaren, who's won championships in the past. He's got a young, up-and-coming teammate, hasn't he? Where He's come through the ranks. Does this sound familiar to anybody, or is it just me? You know what I mean? He's at a team that has won championships in the past. He's got a young teammate, by the way, a younger teammate who's quick. He's got potential, and he's been nurtured by that team for quite some time. It sounds like Max Verstappen, doesn't it? So he walked away from Red Bull because he knew he was never going to win a championship with Red Bull beyond 2018 because he could see, right, they've got Max. They don't want me anymore. They're not going to put any faith in me. All faith is in Max. I'll walk away now because, yeah, it's just not going to work. Go to Renault and just do it on my own, basically. And now he's come into McLaren where he's going to be, yeah, all right, Norris isn't as quick as Verstappen, but still, though, would then McLaren prioritise Norris now over Daniel Ricciardo in the long term? Because Norris is, McLaren want to win the championship with Norris. McLaren don't strike me as a team like that, but I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I really don't know. That's just me stirring the pot a little bit. Stirring the pot just a bit. I don't know. I'll leave it on this though, like what I said there before about Ricciardo joining McLaren. Why is he joining McLaren? Why is he going there? Why isn't he sticking at Renault? Where, yeah, all right, 2019 was a bit of a flop, and he did leave before the start of 2020. So you wouldn't know what the car would have been like. But like I said there before, he's going into a similar situation to what he had at Red Bull, where he had a younger teammate who came through the ranks and they want to nurture him. Not severely, but still though, they might want to build a team around Lando Norris.
Yeah.
So why is he went to McLaren then?
I think what you said there about nurturing Lando Norris, I don't think Norris is on the same level as Verstappen in terms of how well, they want to nourish him, bring through his talent, obviously how he's performed so far. Obviously, we've got to remember Max and the Toro Rosso was absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, Lando has had a good performance in that car, but actually, I still think that Verstappen had more backing than Norris did. But I do agree with the second thing, though, that you said about wanting to build a team around Norris. We've said many times, of course, that Red Bull are building the team around Max Verstappen, much like they did with Sebastian Vettel, and obviously it looks great in Max's favour because, as I say, we know how well it worked when Red Bull were built around Sebastian Vettel. Lando Norris, yes, he kind of controls McLaren, or that's what he wants to do anyways. Again, when I said last year, the last 2 years with Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris, we didn't really know who had the keys, but now it might still be up in the air, and I know we said this before about who can take control. I think I said this about Charles Leclerc. Obviously now Sebastian Vettel's left. Can Charles Leclerc be the one to take the keys and go, right, I'm the one that's in charge at Ferrari, and that's the only way he'll win the championship, battling Max. I said that in the Max Verstappen versus Charles Leclerc video that we made. So yeah, that's my view on who runs the team. But in terms of who will have more success at the team, yeah, I definitely do think it'll be Ricciardo. What's your views on Lando? Do you think that he has the team, or do you think it still is kind of a free for all for this season?
I think eventually the team will want to build around Lando, maybe, but I also think that McLaren might obviously sway towards Ricciardo as well, in the sense that he brings a lot of experience, more than Lando Norris has done, and Ricciardo is a very quick driver at the end of the day, so you know what I mean. And they might do that because, like I said, McLaren don't strike me as a team that will just fully focused on Lando Norris alone. But I can see this relationship blossom. I do in this sense of 2021. I do really think that. But to be fair though, any kind of friendship or rivalry or whatever always goes over the pan, boils over when a championship is involved. Whether you've been friends for 5 minutes or 15 years, it's all going to boil over, because you've got one goal in your mind and you've been going for that goal since you're about probably 4 or 5 years old, and you don't want to let the guy have that reward that you've been working so hard towards. If you're just one guy and you're the only one out of the team who's challenging for that title, there's going to be no problem. But if you're both challenging for the title at the same time, yeah, things will get heated, because you see each other every single day almost. So yeah, it will get heated if it does get to that stage, which will be interesting. And I do hope we do get to that stage, because as a McLaren fan, I do want to start at that stage. I want us winning championships again. But no, I think it could be interesting to see how these two react to it, because Ricciardo has been there before, Norris hasn't. So it would be interesting to see how they both deal with it. So that's going to be rather interesting. So yeah, but I could see it working in the long term. Maybe, will it be as severe as Hamilton Rosberg? Probably. Might even punch each other in the face. I don't know. That could be interesting to see. Let us know if you want to see that in the comment section below. But no, guys, that will wrap this video up. Thank you so much for watching. As always, comment below your opinions as well. Of course, your opinions have been absolutely amazing the past few days, of course, with our reactions to our other videos as well. Leaving your opinions have been so good to hear. Some are better than others because some of them are just hatred towards certain people, but hey, we won't get into that. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure for you watching us today, guys. So if you're new around here, then please like and subscribe as well. Like I said, comment below your opinions as well. But watch what you're doing, guys. Stay safe as always, and until next time, we'll see you later.
Cheerio.
Hey?